the Wachowski Sisters, Elliot Page, Caitlyn Jenner, and more gender-swapped celebrity stories. Until recently, transgender people were silent, even in developed countries of the world. What can we say about traditional cultures, where the family is almost always ashamed of the gender of people and rejects society? The bottom line is a chilling statistic, with 41% of transgender people committing suicide. However, things have changed in recent years. From marginal objects of contempt, pity, and ridicule, transgender people have become full members of society, willing to stand up for their rights and interests. They take up seats in governments, walk the catwalk at couture shows, star in films, pose for the covers of famous magazines, and just live like ordinary people. And Orange, the hit of the season, also collected a rich harvest of film awards. It coincided with a string of coming outs among transgender celebrities. Some of them even made their gender transition public. They documented it on Instagram, described it in interviews for glossy magazines, talked about their feelings on television. For example, Olympic athlete Bruce Jenner, who at 65 became a woman named Caitlyn, actress Elliot Page, who recently came out as a man named Elliot, the directors of the iconic Matrix, the Wachowski brothers, today known as the Sisters. We will tell the stories of famous transgender people who are not afraid to become themselves by dropping the shackles of someone else's body. But first, a little about the phenomenon itself. Until now, most people far from the LGBT agenda do not quite understand the difference between drag queens and transgender people. Meanwhile, it is huge. A drag queen is a person who wears clothes characteristic of the opposite sex. It can be a part of a stage persona and have nothing to do with psychological gender. One notable example is Eurovision star Conchita Wurst. The image of the bearded woman Conchita is the stage alter ego of musician Tom Neuwirth. Tom himself off-stage continues to perceive himself in accordance with the biological sex, while being a homosexual. And a transgender person with his biological sex is out of touch and feels as if they are in someone else's body. This is much more serious than just clothes and even sexual orientation. A person with sexual characteristics of a man perceives himself a woman, and vice versa. It is in this case that people begin to take hormones, change their name and documents, live in accordance with their psychological gender, and sometimes even decide to undergo surgery, thus completely completing the transition. Although not many reach the operation, just because for most trans people that's not the main thing. The most important thing for them is to get rid of the visible signs of someone else's sex and achieve social acceptance. Organization only officially stopped classifying transgender as a mental disorder in 2019. By the way, in most countries of the world, for admission to medical and legal gender reassignment, it is still necessary to undergo a complex psychiatric examination to confirm the seriousness and adequacy of the decision made. The first credible case of surgical gender transition was the story of Lily Elbe, a transgender woman from Denmark who went through a series of sex reassignment plastic surgeries in the early 1930s. The acclaimed film Girl Vagega. Replacing the sitter for his wife, the artist Gerda Vagena, Einar realized that he felt very comfortable in women's clothes. Over time, the female entity became dominant, and Einar began to always dress and behave like a woman. While he appeared everywhere under the name Lily, the entire Bohemian Paris, where the Vagena couple lived at that time, tried to find out from Gerda who this languid stranger depicted in her paintings. Gerda later shocked the public by revealing it was her husband Einar. Due to the peculiarity of their spouse, their marriage broke up, but the Vagegas remained close people. Gerda accepted Einar's new self and supported her ex-husband in his decision to become a woman. Lily Elbe was the first in history to undergo a series of gender reassignment surgeries. Passionately wanting to endure and give birth to a child, in 1931 she decided on an experimental operation to implant the uterus and died of complications. Lily was 48 at the time of her death, and if not for the film, her story would remain known only to a narrow circle of interested parties. However, the first world celebrity to publicly declare herself transgender was Lana Wachowski. Before the gender change, she was directed by Larry Wachowski, the eldest of the creative tandem of the Wachowski brothers, the authors of the films The Matrix, Cloud Atlas, and V Means Vendetta. Rumors about Larry's transgender personality circulated long before his public recognition, back in the early 2000s. But he officially declared himself a woman only in 2012. Before the gender transition, he was married to Thea Bloom, and by his second marriage, also married a woman, actress of the erotic genre Karen Winslow. The uniqueness of Wachowski's story is that in 2016, 4 years after Larry's high-profile coming out, his younger brother and co-creator Andy declared himself a woman too, and took the name Lily. As Andy later admitted, he also felt like a woman from childhood and dreamed of behaving accordingly, but could not openly talk about it because of the prevailing stereotypes. Andy had to publicly reveal his transgender nature under the pressure of the yellow press, blackmailing him with outing. As a result, the famous Wachowski brothers became sisters. It is noteworthy that Andy's wife, Alice Blessingham, made his decision to change sex, and they managed to save the marriage. The story of the American athlete and father of 6 children, Bruce Jenner, who changed sex at 65, suggests that it is never too late to start being yourself. Who would have thought that the masculine decathlete, who with a world record took gold at the 1976 Olympics in Montreal, felt uncomfortable in his sporting and strong body? He had 2 marriages and 4 children under his belt when he began hormone replacement therapy, but left her after meeting future wife Kris Kardashian, becoming stepfather to her children from a previous marriage: Kim, Courtney, Khloe, and Rob. After more than 20 years of marriage, having given birth to daughters Kendall and Kylie, in 2015 the couple broke up. It was then that Bruce made a coming out as a transgender woman, Caitlyn, telling in an interview that since childhood he felt locked in someone else's body. Almost immediately after that confession, a photo of Caitlyn Jenner, taken by the legendary Annie Leibovitz, appeared on the cover of Vanity Fair under the headline "Call Me Caitlyn." And on American television, the documentary I Am Kate was released about her. Jenner completed the full surgical gender transition in 2017. Unlike her, Canadian actress Elliot Page, known for her roles in Juno and Inception, did not wait that long. In December 2020, on her Instagram, the 33-year-old actress made a coming out as a transgender man named Elliot. It shocked Page's fans. She publicly spoke about her homosexuality back in 2014, but did not mention the desire to change her gender. In March 2021, Elliot Page appeared on the cover of Time magazine. He spoke about the pressure he had experienced all these years being forced to wear heels and feminine clothes because the film industry required him to do so. There, Page said that he had surgery to remove the female breast and now finally feels absolutely comfortable in his body. According to statistics, the gender transition from female to male happens less often than from male to female. Another such high-profile case among celebrities is the story of Shea Bono, who was born a girl named Chastity and was the only daughter in the family of singer Cher and her husband, musician and politician Sonny Bono. Chastity realized herself as a boy at 13, and at 18 she made a coming out as a lesbian. In 2010, she officially changed her gender to male, taking the name Cher's. Cher supported her in this decision, and they remain close people now. Hormone replacement therapy affected Cher's appearance. He gained several tens of kilograms. Despite this, Cher has no regrets and is happy to finally be himself. He often talks about this in motivational speeches to the LGBT community and in his books. While the appearance of some transgender people after a gender change changes literally beyond recognition, the appearance of others does not undergo significant changes. This happened in the case of Andre Pezzi, an Australian model of Serbian-Croatian origin. After a surgical gender change in 2014, Andre, who became Andre, outwardly remained similar to his former one. Before the gender transition, he had been performing as an androgynous model for years at shows by Jean-Paul Gaultier and other famous fashion designers, taking to the catwalk in women's outfits and long blonde hair styled in delicate locks. But for the model itself, the difference was colossal. I was proud of my career refuting sexual prejudice, but my biggest dream was to live up to my own body. I must be honest with myself, and my career will have to adjust to this, stated Pezzi after the gender change. The 31-year-old fashion model is still in demand by the fashion industry as a female model. Moreover, the gender transition of Laverne Cox, the American actress who played the role of transgender woman Sophia Bursette in the series Orange as the hit of the season, did not affect her career. The actress Roderick Cox began to introduce herself as a woman after moving from Alabama to New York, and she played only female roles in films. She decided to change sex as a child, after she almost committed suicide at the age of 11 due to ridicule from her peers. Being a black transsexual isn't easy even in progressive New York, and in good old Alabama, with its traditional values of the American South, it's even harder. For her role as Sophia Bursette in 2014, Cox was nominated for an Emmy Award, and a year later, Time magazine included her in the list of 100 influential women in the world, and posted her photo on the cover with the caption, "Transgender people are starting to win back their rights in the United States." The open appeal to the taboo topic of transgender allowed such people around the world to get out of the shadows and feel more confident. Moreover, it helped them prove that transgender people are not strange disguised freaks from gay bars and intimacy services, but brave people who decided to correct the mistake of nature and regain the gender in which they were supposed to be born.